But when I worked at the People's Daily, I was the chief translator. And so every day I had to translate about 2 or 3 news articles from Chinese into English. And I constantly found myself being like, wait, what does this sentence mean? And I would go and ask my Chinese coworkers, I'd be like, what does this mean? And they'd be like, it doesn't really mean anything. And they like knew. And oh, okay. So what should I translate it as? I remember this one girl who was really smart. She went to Beijing University, and I don't think that she liked the Communist Party at all, but she was there for the same reasons that any of us were there, which was to make money. She was like, listen, nobody's going to read the English translations of the People's Daily's article. Why do you keep bugging me about how accurate these translations are? Nobody's going to read your translations. Just wing it, dude. Just wing it. And that was the first time in my life as a young man that I went from being like, my father always said, if you're going to do a job, then do it right. I went from that mentality to screw it. Fuck it. I'm going to go through the movements, and hopefully by the end, I'll still get my paycheck and nobody will notice. And guess what? Nobody ever noticed. Even if my translations were terrible, no one ever noticed. The only time I ever got in trouble working at the People's Daily, this is really funny, actually. I was also in charge of putting the time, like scheduling their Instagram posts, right? So the People's Daily would have scheduled Instagram posts where it would be like a picture of flowers in Yunnan, and it would be some Chinese idiom poorly translated into weird English that nobody would really actually pay attention to. And you would have to line up like 3 posts at the end of the day that they would post, over the night, because the nighttime would be obviously the daytime in China. And that would be, so the Lingdao, the people above you, would see the People's Daily social media is still active and still posting things. And there was one day where I forgot to do it. By that time, I may have just started to not do it and just nobody really noticed. But finally, someone noticed, and I got in huge trouble. She was so furious, and I just had to kind of take it on the chin. And it didn't really affect, though, my relationships with my boss or my job. I still got paid, and I still went to Beijing at Central Academy of Drama. And for the first semester I was there, I still did part-time translation for the People's Daily so that I could make some money to be able to go out. And at the time, like an idiot, I thought that Beijing nightlife was really fun. And it was only after being in Beijing for a semester that I realized I could use one word to describe Beijing nightlife, which is 装逼. It's just so more about trying to look and appear cool than it is to actually have a good time. And I know that people are going to bring up examples. Hey, what about this part in Beijing? Hey, what about this part in Beijing? It's not about Beijing not having places where you can just have a good time and you don't have to worry about spending $3,000 on a booth or like a Grey Goose bottle with fireworks on it. But it's about the proportion. Like how much of the nightlife is dominated by these places where you can go and spend $7,000 on a table and have these girls come out in bikinis with a Grey Goose vodka with fireworks around it that only play this type of music, and you see just a bunch of middle-aged Chinese guys with a bunch of younger Chinese women that just want to use them for alcohol, with the Chinese guys getting drunk enough to where they finally feel comfortable to dance like they don't even have the rhythm, but it's like, that dance. And everyone around them like pretending like they're really cool and like all that stuff. Because obviously that type of environment will exist in places like LA or even Shanghai or even Nanjing. But like Nanjing and Shanghai and even LA also have a healthy amount of bars that you can go and dance, that you don't have to buy a table. People are just there just to have a good time. You have a lot of room. There's not like a $20 entrance fee. You can just go and boogie, and it's not all horrible EDM, which just over and over is like 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 boom. Oh God, I hate that music. I hate that type of music so much. I hate it to my core. If you really don't know how to dance, or if you're not comfortable with dancing, that music just holds your hand. It's like 1, 2, 3. Okay, pretend to have a good time. Put your hands in the air. Put your hands in the air. I can't stand it. And as soon as I realized that was Beijing nightlife, I did not need to really care that much about money, because obviously as a full scholarship student, I also got paid. I got a monthly stipend. And then I started to appear on Chinese television shows too, which I got paid for that under the table.